Welcome back everybody. So in today's video I'll be showing you how you can transform your data in Amazon S3 using AWS Glue. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so like I mentioned, in today's video I'll be showing you how you can transform your data in S3 using AWS Glue. Alright, so this is our high-level architecture of what we'll be covering in this video. So we'll have a CSV file in S3, and this S3 will be acting as our source, and then we will have Glue transforming this file, and eventually we will write the transform data back to S3 as a parquet format. One thing that I will also be showing you in this video is how you can read and access your parquet file once you have written it to S3. I've noticed that a lot of people have trouble accessing and reading parquet file in S3. So in this video, I'll also be showing you how you can read your transform data that is in parquet format. Okay, so stick to the end of this video because we will be going through some really cool stuff. All right, so let's jump to the demo now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my AWS account now, and right here I'm logged into my AWS account, and just go ahead and log in. And the services that we'll be using in this video, we have two of them. So we have S3 and Glue. So if you don't see them right here in your console home, you can just look for them right here. And the first one that we'll be starting with is S3. So just type S3, and I'm going to open this one on a new page. So the packet that we'll be using for this video is this one right here. Just go ahead and create a packet and load data to it. The one here that I've created is this one for CK data tech, and I have the file that we'll be using for transformation right here in this folder, incoming data, and I have created another subfolder for students right here. Okay, so I have this CSV file with a student depression dataset, and I got this data from Kaggle. I will put the link for Kaggle also in the description if you want to explore and download data. It's a very good website where you can get your data sets if you're looking for where to get data. Okay, so and I will quickly show you how this data looks like. I have it right here open in Excel, and this is how this data set looks like. So we have these columns right here. Okay, so we have age, city, profession, going all the way to the depression column right here. Okay, so this is how the data looks like, and this is the data that will be transforming in Glue. Okay, so now let's go back to our S3 right here. Okay, so we will have this is the data we'll be using. Again, I said it's going to be in CSV file, and you can see the format here. It's .csv, and now the incoming file, right? So we will transform that file, and we will be writing it back to this outgoing data. And let me just create another folder here for students. Okay, and I'm just going to create that. So we will have the parquet file now written here, and Glue will be doing this work for us. Okay, so this is my setup for S3. You can set up yours whichever way you like. Okay, it doesn't have to be like this. And now we have our S3 ready. So let's go back to Glue now. So I have AWS Glue here, and you can do the same thing if you don't see it in your console home. Just type Glue right here, and you will see Glue here, and just open it. And so we have our home page here for Glue now. And what we need to do, there are a few things here that we need to do so that we can go ahead and do our transformation. But basically, Glue is your ETL tool, and you can do a lot of things with Glue. I've done a few videos on Glue, and I will put the links for those in the description if you want to take a look. But basically, what we want to do here, in order to transform our S3 data, the first thing that we need to do, you can go in whichever way, right? So but I would like to start from databases because we need a database for our data catalog. Okay, so the data catalog section and the ETL section here is what we'll be focusing mostly on this video. So I will start with the database, and we'll go ahead and create our database, and I'm going to call this one S3 data, S3 underscore data. That will be our database. And now we have our database. So for the tables, we don't have a table here, but the crawler will be creating the table for us. So for that, we will be going, I will be going right here to crawlers. And what we need to do is we want to create a crawler that is going to access our S3 source and crawl it. And just crawler, you can read here, a crawler connects your data source progresses through prioritized list of classifiers to determine the schema of your data, and then creates metadata tables in your data catalog. So basically it's going to connect to your source and then just create the metadata here. And if you want to view the data, you can connect with Athena and view the data, okay, analyze it. So let's go ahead and create crawler. So I'm just going to hit crawler here, and I'm going to call this one S3 crawler here, like that. And you can name, of course, the name here, you know, it has to be optional. Yeah, not optional, you can put whatever name you like here. And then you can put the description. I'm just going to click next there, and we need to add the source here. Choose the data source. You can see the data source is by default S3, and the location of this one will be this account. Okay, I don't have a cross account, it's just the same account I'm using. Select the packet. So this is my root packet, and we are going to be going to incoming data, and I want to crawl everything that is inside students. Okay, so I'm just going to choose students, and I want to crawl all subfolders inside that students folder, and then just go ahead and add this data source, and then from here just hit next here. And when you come to the IAM role, this is a very important section. You need to have an IAM role that Glue can use to connect your S3 and other services that will be using in AWS. Okay, so right here I have this role here, S3 Redshift role. So I'm going to select this, but if you don't have one, you can just create IAM role. And before we proceed, I'm actually going to show you what is contained in this role. So I'm going to jump over to IAM. Okay, so just go search IAM if you don't see it the same way, and I'll go to roles, and this is the role, that role that I'm using. I created this role, and these are the policies that I have. Now it doesn't have to be all of this. The reason I have this all of these policies is because I'm also using this role to connect to RDS, and I'm also connecting to Redshift. Okay, and I did a video. If you're interested in knowing how to connect Glue to Redshift, there's a video that I made on that topic, and I'll put it in the description so you can take a look into it. But so I think if you're just interested in connecting to S3 without having, you know, to go to Redshift and all, the policies I believe that will be relevant here for you are this one, AWS Glue service role. You can also put this one for S3 full access, but in my previous experience, I think this one has been sufficient. But if this does not work, then you can add the S3 full access, and I think that's pretty much it. The rest of these other ones were relevant because I needed them for my connection to RDS and Redshift. Okay, so these two are relevant, and if I go to trust relationships here, I only have Glue here as the trust relationship. As a trusted service, and this comes initially when you create the role. So for example, if you wanted to create a role from the beginning, it will ask you to select the service. So in my case, I chose a Glue for that, and that's why you see it in the trusted section there. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, and so that's pretty much it. So just go ahead and create it. You can put whichever name you like, and when you come back here, when you come back to your Glue now, just refresh it here, and the role will be coming here. Okay, now you can also go directly from here, and it will lead you to IAM, and you can just go ahead and create the role. Just make sure, I think the two of them that are useful for S3 connection. I think AWS Service Glue role, if this does not work for you, go ahead and add S3. If you already created the role and you just want to add additional roles, then you can go to add permissions, attach policies, and just go ahead and attach the policy here. So we have a number of S3. So if you want to limit the access, then you can just you know, for example, we have here S3 read only access. So this is going to read your data in S3 without writing to it. We have S3 table full access. So this is going to access all the tables in S3. So there are a number of S3 related policies here that you can do, but that's how you attach a policy. So just go ahead and you know, select it and just add the permission here. It's going to attach it to your existing role, and you should be able to use it. Okay, so that's how you do the permissions for your IAM roles. Okay, so once you do that, we'll now proceed. Okay, so just select the role here, and I'm not going to do anything for leg formation or this additional security layer here. Just going to hit next here, and now for the database, this is a database we created. Just choose the database. And for the table prefix, you can put the table. I'm not going to do anything here, but you can put the prefix here if you have one. And down here, advanced options, if you're interested on doing anything else here, you can do it. I'm not going to do that. So this crawler schedule is an important one if you want to crawl your data several times a day, or several times a month, or whatever. So you can just go here and define the scheduling for this. You can add cron expression if you want. In this case, we'll just be running it on demand. So we'll just run it once, or we run it whenever we need it. Okay, so I'm just going to select that and then just hit next here, and you have your summary here now, and just go ahead and hit create. Okay, so this is going to create your crawler. And now for Glue to be able to create the table for you, you need to run the crawler. Okay, so we'll go ahead and select this crawler and just go ahead and hit run, and this is going to start your crawler. And what it's going to do is it's going to go through the source folder in S3, the one you defined where we have our file. It's going to crawl our file and then create a table for us right here. Okay, so this might take a few minutes, might be 1 to 3 minutes, so we'll let it run and then we'll come back once it's done. Okay, so you can see here the state now is showing us stopping. So this means that our table should have been created now, and crawler is shutting itself down. So if we go over to tables, I'm going to open tables on a new tab, and there we go. So you can see now we have a table called students, and this table has been created for you, and it is pointing to our students folder in S3. Okay, you can check the table data here. Just see here, this one is taking you to Athena, so you can hit proceed and go to Athena and analyze the data if you want to. I'm not going to do that, but if you want to know how you can use Athena to analyze your data in data catalog, let me know. I will make another video on that. Okay, but let me know in the comment section if you're interested in that. Okay, so we have our source table created here now, and if you go back to crawlers, you will see that it has succeeded running, and that means that our crawler successfully ran. And of course, we can see here our table is ready. Now let's move ahead and transform this table. Okay, so we'll go over here to ETL jobs. Just click here, and I'm going to open this in a new tab, and this is going to open AWS Glue Studio. And there are two ways that you can transform your data in Glue Studio. You can use the visual ETL, or you can open script editor or a notebook. Okay, so actually there are three ways that you can do this. So you can choose any of this. If you like writing the code in PySpark, then you can go with any of this, but in this case I will make it easy. I will go with the visual ETL, and this one is also pretty neat, and I've used it. I think I pretty like it a lot. So let's go ahead. The first thing that we need to do here is to save this job. So I'm going to save this as transform S3 data, like so, and I'm going to save this. And now so you can see here you can switch between script and visuals. So if you are comfortable with PySpark, you can go ahead and write your PySpark code here to do the transformation. You can also just use the visual ETL. Okay, and visual ETL is going to generate for you the script here as well, and you'll see that as we proceed. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the node. The first node that we need to add here is for our source data, and in this case our source will be S3. So we'll just select S3, and we'll go ahead and configure this. So let's go to source type right here, which will be in this case data catalog. You can choose S3, but because we created this table in data catalog, Glue data catalog, we want to use it. Okay, so I'm going to select the database here, which is S3 data, and the table that we created when we crawl our data is this one for students, and that is pretty much it. Okay, so that's the only thing we need to do here. You can add additional parameters if you like, but I'll just leave the rest of this as default. And now we need to select our service role right there. Let me just increase the screen here. Okay, so once you select your service role here, your IAM role, this is going to start the data preview, and it's going to preview the data for you, and I'll show you how the data looks like before you actually run your job. Okay, it's pretty neat. You can also see the output schema here. Okay, so if you see this schema, this is how the schema looks like. So you will see in this case we have some columns that are actually pretty long, so they are kind of like text like, and we will actually be transforming these columns. Okay, but you can get a quick preview of how the columns are looking like. And now we have our source file ready. Now let's move over to the transformation piece. Okay, so this is the piece now that we'll be also focusing on in this video. Okay, so we want to transform this data. And when it comes to transformations, there are several ways in which you can transform your data, and you can see some of the options that you have here, right? So you can do as basic things as changing the schema or changing the column names. You can do detect if you have sensitive data, you can detect it and probably mask it or remove them if you want. You can aggregate this data, you can drop duplicates. If there are fields you want to drop, you can do so. Okay, so there are a number of, you can even rename the fields if you like, and all of these other things. Okay, so there are a lot here. So there are different ways in which you can transform your data. Okay, so we are going to actually choose a basic one here. We want to change the schema for this, so I'm just going to pick change schema. And when we move to the change schema node here now, you can see some of the things that you can do with change schema transformation. So in this case, the only thing I want to do is change the source key. Okay, so as you can see right here, you have some of these okay, so you can see the mappings, right? This is the source key and this is how the target key looks like. In this case, this basically your source column and this is your target column. You can also drop a column if you like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some of the longer columns and I'm going to transform them. So like this one, academic pressure, I will just put, instead of space, I'll just put underscore. Okay, and then work pressure right here, I'm going to put underscore on this one as well. And then the study satisfaction, the same thing here. Okay, and this is job satisfaction, I will also do underscore on this. Sleep duration with this one, the same thing. And dietary habits, the same thing here. And degree, we have that one. So you can see this one says, have you ever had, I cannot read the rest of this one's, let's say, have you ever had suicidal thoughts? Okay, so this seems like a question, and I'm thinking in the actual data, this might be a boolean, yes or no, or a 0 or 1. So we can do something like is suicidal on this one, is suicidal. Okay, and then work study hours. Okay, so I'm going to call this one work hours. Okay, and this one financial stress, we will name this one pain stress. And family history of mental illness. Okay, so I will just call this one family mental illness like that. Okay, so you can you can put it whichever way. Okay, I'm just showing you how this thing looks like. Okay, and then the last one here is we have depression. Okay, so these are the fields. I don't think we have any more fields. Okay, so these are the fields, and basically I've just transformed a few of these. You can decide to drop some of these ones. I don't think I want to drop anything here. We'll just leave the rest of this, but if you choose to drop, then you can just hit drop here and it's going to be dropped. Okay, so just select the field that you want to drop and it's going to be dropped in your target database. Actually, let's do that. Let's drop this one, work study hours, maybe sleep duration, and the GPA. So we have dropped about 3 columns. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and see how that one looks like. And then once you're done with your transformations, just go ahead and save it. If you want to add more transformations, you can go here and choose any other transformation you want to do on this data. But I'm not going to add any more. I'm just going to leave it as this one for change schema. Okay, and when you come here to the output schema, you can see now this is the list of your fields that will be written to destination. Okay, so you can see the changed fields. You can see academic, we have put underscore work underscores. Okay, so you can see now it's showing here. All right, so let's go ahead now and add our destination. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add the target for this. We are done with our transformation, and this is going to be written to S3 as well. So in this case, I mentioned we will be transforming S3 and writing it back to S3. You can also do S3 as your source, transform, and then write it to other destinations like RDS or Redshift. I also did a video. If you want, if you're interested on transforming S3 and writing it to Redshift, there are some videos I've done on that. So take a look into that as well. Okay, so let's now configure our target destination. And in this case, just select that node. And in this case, you can see that your node parent will be the change schema, which is our transformed node there. And this is the important piece also, the format. Okay, so I mentioned when we started this video that I will be the source will be a CSV, and we will be writing the transformed data as a parquet file. So you can see we have completed bringing in our source. We have also done our transformation, and now we want to write the completed file as a parquet format to S3. Okay, so let's go ahead and configure that now. Okay, so what we want to do here is now choose the format as parquet, and you can see there's a few formats here. You can do CSV, you can do JSON, Afro, ORC. In this case, I'm going with parquet, so we'll do that. And now it's asking you to choose the target location. So okay, so because it's S3, we'll go ahead and browse, and we are going to be writing this file to outgoing data inside students. Okay, just select the folder and choose this, and that is where your transformed file will be written to. All right, and there's another section here for data catalog update options. So this one is you can read this one, choose how you want to update your data catalog table and partitions, and this only applies if the data catalog table is an S3 packed source. Okay, so this applies to us because our source is S3, and if you want to create a table in Glue data catalog for this transformed one, then you can do it. In this case, I'm not going to do it, but if you're interested, you can just go ahead and create it for you, and just put the database and also the table name that will be created for you. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it, and you can choose to choose data quality here. So basically the data quality here, you can see the rule that will be applied. If you check this one, is that the column count is always greater than 0. Okay, so in other words, you should have records in your data. So if your data is empty, if your file is empty, then with this one checked, it's going to fail when you run. Okay, I'm going to leave this one checked because I know that my table has data in it. So but if you just want to test with an empty file, then you can leave this one off. Okay, and then that is pretty much it. So we don't have anything else here. You can edit data quality configuration. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to save this one here, and I think we should be good now with our transformations and our setup. Okay, so if you scroll here, you see we have a check mark here, and check mark right here. So that means that we are good to go, and you can preview the output schema. So we have the schema types here. We have the data types as well as the columns that will be created in your target database. Okay, so now I don't think you can preview the data here, but I think you can preview it in the source because we had the IAM role chosen there. Okay, so you can see how this data looks like. You have the ID, the gender, the age, the location, the city that is, profession, the pressure, and all of this data. Okay, so looks like we are able now to access our data, and you get the preview for the past 200 rows there. All right, so we are good now to run our ETL job. So let's go ahead and do that. So all you have to do is just go up here and hit run here, and this is going to run your job, and you can monitor it right here, run details. I'm going to open this on a new tab here, and this is Glue now. This is the Glue runs, and this is your job actively running right here, and you can fill the details right here as well. Okay, so you can see the driver logs showing up right here. So you can monitor it directly from here if you want, but you can also go to CloudWatch. If you open CloudWatch in a new tab, you can start trailing the logs. So if you start trailing the logs for this is going to start showing the logs for you, and you can choose between plain text and columns. Okay, I prefer the text version. Okay, so you can start looking here, and if there are any errors, you can see them right here. Okay, so as you can see, there are some warnings here, and I think this might be related to things that are not going to be detrimental to our job. So you can see, looks like it needs this environment disabled. I think can be disabled by setting this. Okay, so so some of these are just things that are warnings and are not of interest. But of course, if your job fails, then you can come here and see where exactly it failed on. Okay, so this is just one way of monitoring your logs of what's happening. Okay, so let's go back here, and you can just keep refreshing this. Okay, that completed. That was pretty fast. Okay, so it completed running and it succeeded. Okay, so now that our job has succeeded, let's go to S3 and see what's happening over there if the data has been written. So this is our outgoing data where we wrote our transformed data to, and all you have to do here is just refresh this. Okay, there we go. So you can see now that we have written the transformed file in parquet format. Okay, so up to this point you are successful in doing your transformations from Glue. So we got our data in S3 source, we transformed it in Glue, and we have run our job successfully, and we have the file written right here. Okay, so how do you now access this data? All right, so I've seen a lot of people having issues, and actually myself, I used to have issues here, because how do you validate this? With CSV you can go ahead and download it, but with with Parquet, it's compressed format. You don't know how to read it. So if you download this file here, for example, and try reading it, it's not going to work. Okay, so you can see that there's no like it's not working like CSV where you can just open it in Excel. Okay, so how do you read this file? Okay, so there are two ways, and I'm going to show you that in this next section of this video. Okay, so there are two ways in which you can read your data here. The first one is within S3 itself. So if you select this file right here, the way I have it selected now, so you can access the contents of these files in this manner. Okay, select this file and go to actions, scroll down to where it says query with S3. Okay, right here, and just hit that, select that, and this will bring you to this section for query settings, and you can see the file. So the input settings, in this case the format is Apache Parquet. Okay, our file is Apache. By default it's going to select it for you. There are two ways that you can see the output for this when you run this query. Let's start with CSV. Okay, so when you choose the CSV, it's going to output in comma or a tab or custom. Okay, I'll just leave it in comma, and right here now you can run this query. Okay, so you can run select on this query, and this is going to give you the first five, the top 5, or just the first 5. Okay, go ahead and run it, and you can see your data right here. Okay, so you can see, you'll see the data and all, which is great. Awesome, we have data on this, but sometimes you just want to know if you have all of the data written here. So in this case, what might be helpful is if we select count star. Okay, and this one works pretty much like SQL. Okay, so it's just the same as SQL. You can write your SQL queries right here. Okay, so if you select as count star, we want to know how many columns we have on this one. Okay, sometimes if you put limit here, if it's not going to give you the right result, so just remove that and just go ahead and run this query. Okay, so you can see now the total output, or the total rows that we have in this file, 27,901. Now let's go back to our Excel and see if that's the case. So you switch to Excel. This is our Excel. I'm just going to select, hit one of these field here, and you can see, okay, so I just selected city in this case, and I'm assuming city, all of this, all of the cities are not null. None of them is null. And you can see right here the count for this one is 27,902. This includes the header, so just take away the header and you get your records as 27,901, which is matching what we have right here. Okay, so that's 27,901. Now the other thing that you might be interested in knowing also is the columns. Okay, did your columns come in the correct manner? Okay, so to do that, what you want to do is you want to switch, instead of outputting it in CSV format, let's switch it to JSON. Okay, so if you switch it to JSON and just go ahead here and select star, let's just select the first 5 records for this one, maybe 5 or 10. Okay, let's choose 10. We just want to know the columns, if they came in as transformed. So just go ahead and run this. All right, there we go. So you can see now that you have your data showing in terms of JSON here. And of course, the keys in this case are your columns. So you have your ID, your gender, age, city, profession, academic pressure here. You have your work pressure, all of that. So you can see that our data is coming in now with the transformed fields. And if you noticed, some of the columns that we dropped are not showing here, and I think one of them was this one right here, this GPA. I think we did not include that, and most likely the dietary habits as well. I think there was a few of them that we did not include. So this one for CGPA, you can see that for that one it's not showing up. I think we have another window here. I'm just going to open the right window here. Okay, so you can see that one is not showing up, and I think the dietary habits is there. Which other one did we? Job satisfaction. Yes, so job satisfaction, I think we included. Which other one? Okay, so there were a few of them that we dropped. I forgot which one we chose, but you can see that we have our data now coming in correctly. Okay, so that's just one way of accessing your data in S3 using query select. Okay. And now the other one that I think probably is going to be very useful for you, even for your data that's not in cloud, is through Visual Studio. Okay, so if you go over to Visual Studio Code, there's an extension that we can install to Visual Studio Code. So I'm just going to open Visual Studio Code here. So if you don't have, just go ahead and download Visual Studio Code. I will put the link also if you don't have it in the description, and you can download it. But once you have your Visual Studio Code open, what you want to do is go over to this section for extensions, and the extension plugin that we want to install is this one for parquet. So just type parquet here, and you will see a number of them. A number of these should work fine with parquet, but the one that I like the most is this one for Parquet Explorer. And just go ahead and install this Parquet Explorer, this one here. You can see this one is by Adam Fiola, and it has a number of downloads here. So just go ahead and install it. It's going to install it in your VS Studio Code, and what you want to do next then is just go ahead and open that file. Okay, so we downloaded this file right here, and if I go to my downloads, I'm just going to open the downloads. This is the file that we just downloaded, and we want to open this now from Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to close here, and what I want to do is I want to go to file here, and basically I want to open the downloads folder. Hold on, so open folder ID. Okay, so just go to your Visual Studio Code. Let's make this one bigger, I think. Yeah, so open folder, and what we want to open is downloads. So just go to downloads here, or if you move that file to another location, just open that folder. And once you do that, you will see right here we have that file here. Okay, so this is our transformed file that I just downloaded directly from S3. And what you want to do once you have installed the extension is just go ahead and open this file, and it's going to open it for you, and you should be able to access your data. So you can see this is the same data now that you can see, and in this case it's going to be showing in tabular format. All right, so and this is a parquet format. Previously it was not working, but once you install the extension, then you can actually figure it out. So you can see now you have your ID, gender, and all of the other fields, and you can see the CGPA one that we dropped is not showing up here. Okay, so this is our transform data now, which of course is different from what the CSV file looks like. Okay, so that is pretty neat with Visual Studio Code opening parquet files. If you want to know the count for this one, if you want to know the count, just go ahead and type count star from data. Okay, so data is always going to be your file here, so you don't have to change that. If you do that, of course you can see there's nowhere to run, but you know, all you have to do is just refresh this, and to do that, just click back the file and it's going to show you the count. Okay, so you can see now the count again is still matching our file, 27,901. Okay, 27,901. All right, that's pretty neat. Okay, so you can do other things. So if you just want to now get out of here, just click start again and click the file again, and it's going to show you the data. Okay, you can also run SQL queries here. For example, let's filter this. So you can filter, let's say, select star from data where, let's say, the gender equals female, and the age is greater than 40. Okay, so let's see if we have that number here. Okay, so if you go back and click here, you can see your data is filtered now. So you can see we have this number of students, and you can also count here. Let's say count star. Okay, so you can see how many. So we have 11 records. Okay, for female students who are over 40 years. Okay, so that's pretty neat. So that's how you can actually use Visual Studio Code to access your parquet file and also query the data in your parquet file. I like this a lot actually. I discovered this recently, and I think I'm going to be using this now moving forward. It's pretty neat to use. You can query your data just like regular Excel. Pretty cool extension right here. Alright guys, so I think that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to show in this video. Just a quick recap. In this video, I wanted to show you how you can transform your data in S3 using Glue. And what we did is we brought our source file from S3 in CSV format, did some transformations in Glue, and then eventually we wrote our transform data to another S3 packet in parquet format here. And then I went ahead and showed you how you can access that file from S3 here using S3 select, and also how you can do it from Visual Studio Code. We went ahead and installed the extension here, Parquet Explorer, and we went ahead and opened our Parquet file here, and as you can see, we are able to run queries on that file, you know, including getting the counts as well as filtering the data from your Parquet file. Alright guys, that's all I had for you in this video. I hope you found the video helpful, and if you did, please give thumbs up to the video and also subscribe to the channel. Okay, I will see you then in the next video. Bye bye.